Thank you for everything, Miss Gold.
It was my pleasure. Keep practicing what we learned.
We will.
A month had already gone by since we arrived in Undira, meeting their people and hearing their problems. One of the things that worried me the most when we arrived in the capital was the number of kids, some really young, who wandered in the streets unattended while their parents worked to put food on the table. The older children spent their days doing hard work that clearly should be the responsibility of an adult. After locating all their parents and talking to them, I was able to convince them to let me give classes to their kids so they could learn the basics. Persuading the adults was not an easy task, but luckily, most of them were no dumb faithful. So my status as a future High Priestess helped me to gain their trust.
Is it finally over? About time.
If it were up to me, I would stay with them until they grew up and teach them everything I know. But we must continue on our journey. Besides, we agreed with their parents.
Great. I was starting to take root. Really don't like spending so much time in one place. A month. I think this is the first time since my parents died that I slept so many days in a row in the same city.
You should know that I only decided to stay here because of you.
What?
There was something you said when I told you about the instructions I received from the temple sages. I believe you were correct. Any child—
I think I was talking about living a carefree life like yours. But if...
Don't you believe the same?
Most of these kids don't have a future. I don't know how reading and writing could change any of that. Chances are they'll...
If they can read and write, it will be easier for them to build a future for themselves. As long as at least one or two of them do that, I will be happy. They will be able to learn from those who came before us, discover new things on their own, and pass that knowledge on to those who come later. Do you not find it wonderful?
I managed without any of that.
Wait, what? You cannot read?
What's the point? You don't need to read books to steal them. Also, it's not like I had someone to teach me.
Well, that will change. I promise. We went to a secluded place and spent the afternoon among books. You learned surprisingly fast. Even though you did not seem to put much effort into it, and you were doing this just so I could stop bothering you. Wow, it is amazing how fast you are grasping these lessons.
I guess I may have picked up a couple of things from your classes. I did spend a whole month sitting by your side.
Even if that were the case, it is impressive. It is always harder for an adult to learn new things.
Ah, I get it. Like you and our sword lessons, huh?
That is a completely different matter. Here, read this. Legend.
Who's the one reading? You or me?
Sorry.
The Legend of the Necromancer.
Someone who uses dark arts to manipulate death, and thus, the dead.
Nice. So what's it all about? If I have to read this thing on my own, it's going to get dark before I finish.
But that is precisely the right way to learn. Well, since this is your first time, I will make an exception. But from now on, you will have to read it all by yourself, all right? Legend says that deep within these mountains, a heretic violated the will of the gods in order to achieve eternal life. The heretic succeeded in this aberrant attempt and created a tool for forbidden rituals that would grant immortality. And perhaps even bring back the dead. Over the centuries, many have tried to claim that power for themselves, but all they found in the Necromancer's crypt was their demise. They say that the instrument the Necromancer created is also a weapon. They call it the Sword of the Necromancer.
Ooh, spooky. So this is just a campfire story to scare the kids, right?
That is how most people see it, but it is indeed a true tale. This is something that happened a long time ago.
Seriously? You expect me to believe that?
Do you remember what I told you about my lineage? Aside from taking care of the Temple of Nodam, we are also in charge of transcribing their history. The Necromancer was reduced to a folktale, but he did indeed exist, and if the heretic was as successful as the story says, he ought to still be alive.
So you're saying that there are dark sorcerers around? Come on.
I never lie. I think we are alone now. There does not seem to be anyone around. I did not want you to consider me a liar, so I opted to use my magic. That way you would see it with your own eyes. Something simple but flamboyant, enough for you to believe me.
What? What the hell is that?
This is magic, you skeptic. The light of Nodam.
That's impossible! It's all smoke and mirrors!
Not at all. You need only understand the laws that govern this world. That is why the ancestors left us their writings, the grimoires, where such things are explained. Unfortunately, there are those who use that knowledge to stray from the path of the gods and commit acts that should not be named. Like the Necromancer.
And you can use that magic because you're a descendant of the Nodam?
We could say that I have an innate aptitude for it due to my ancestry. But the truth is that everyone would be able to do it too if they applied themselves. After learning to read the grimoires, of course. So are you interested in reading now? You looked away like an embarrassed child. As if trying not to be heard much, you answered.
Yes.
All right! Then you teach me how to fight, and I will teach you to read the ancient language and use the grimoires. Does that sound good?
It's a deal.